Okay, so we're back in the creek. We're finally going to get this bridge hopefully put in today. First task is got to get our telephone poles cut to length, holes drilled and slid onto our pylons. We're going to string a line from that point to that point to know how high to cut our telephone poles right here. So that's first on the agenda. Let's get to work. Okay, so our first pole is going to measure 52 inches, but I have to subtract the thickness of our railroad tie that'll sit on top of them. Is we're going to say 7 inches. So 52 minus 7, stay with me, 45, yes. I overcut it by a few inches because I'm going to install it and then realize I'm going to have to go up and get the grinder to cut this rebar off. But I overcut it by 3 inches so we can install it, cut it dead flat to our line up there. So let me run up and get the grinder. I'll be right back. I was out of cutoff wheel, so I had to grab the bandsaw, but of course the bandsaw blade was dull, so I had to change it out real quick. So we got to figure out my drill bit here. I can go about 4 inches. Cut this rebar off at 4 inches. Tried to grab a telephone pole. Perfect. It is a hair bigger than the concrete, so the water won't pool under it, is my thought. 2 3/8. In case you're ever doing this, carpenter's pencils don't mark on telephone poles worth a darn. These holes are a bit oversized, but it's just meant to keep it on there. Instead of trying to do some sort of bracket, this was just easier. Okay, let's slide this bad boy on, hopefully. Really would prefer not to pinch my fingers here. Freaking pole dancing. Got one. There we go. Perfect. 45. Try to cut it as flat and square as possible. Possible as you can with a chainsaw. Pretty close. Level's a bit overkill, but you won't be able to see that, but that's almost perfect. Out of curiosity, not bad either. We'll utilize this level to get our height over here. 47.5 minus 7 will give us our height. Yeah, minus 7, so we're 40.5. So we're going to cut the second log at. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it to length while I'm here. Go ahead and get the expensive power tools out of the way. Set this one on there. Then we'll double check our work. Perfect. I was supposed to cut that at the measurement, not subtract the 7. Hey, mistakes happen, right? Y'all probably saw that from a mile away. Okay, I gotta go grab one more telephone pole. Okay, the only thing I don't like is this telephone pole is a touch smaller, but it'll have to work. That's all I got. The good part is there is a bit of an angle to my concrete pier, so I'm gonna cut a little bit of an angle on the bottom of this one, I think. Same diameter, this looks different. And I cut that one to the same length. Third time. Okay. And in theory, this should be level across here, or at least somewhat close. Perfect. I can trim the top of this one a little bit and get us right where we need to be. Yummy. Alright, I think I'm gonna trim that just a little bit more. Try to get that post to lay flat. I am gonna have to trim the left one just a smidge, like an 1/8 inch. Don't even know if that's worth messing with. I'm not even gonna mess with it. So probably screw up more trying to mess with it. Might have to get a longer railroad tie. Yeah, I'm gonna go try to find a railroad tie that's like 60 inches. This one's about 5 inches too short. It's been a few years since I've cut railroad ties with a chainsaw. And boy, did I forget how much it trashes blades. Or chains, whatever you want to call them. Okay, that's better. Pretty darn close for what we're doing. I'm gonna put some X bracing on here to kind of stiffen it side to side real quick. Grab some boards. All I have is these used deck boards. They'll work for a while. I'll have to get some treated 2x4s later on, but for the next couple years, this will work. Good. Now strength wise the other way is going to be tricky. The bridge will hold it for the most part the other way. This that'll work for the time being. Just till I get the bridge set up on top, it'll help hold it so it doesn't fall over. That'll work for now. Gives it some rigidity anyway. Okay, now I got to start pulling the bridges down here. It's gonna be interesting. The bridge section that's here won't be too bad because it's pretty short and I can get to everything up there relatively easily. It's from here to there, which is probably like almost 20 foot. It's gonna be a major challenge because I have to come down the main road, dragging it, push it right through here, down far enough I can get the bucket or the tractor under it and hopefully hook it and set it. That's my hope. I don't know if that'll work. One-man operation here, so let's see how it goes. Oh, this would be easier with a couple people. Yeah, that'll be plenty sturdy. Not too bad. This was the easy one. That one over there is gonna suck. Capital S. I think before I do that one, I'm gonna slide this one past and dig out a spot to set that smaller railroad tie under this end to support it and to keep the steel off the ground. So let's do that real quick. Putting this back on here might be fun. That's better. Pretty strong. As you can tell, that's one half of it. Now we got to get the other big one, which is a 20-footer that's laying over there. We got to come down here and set it up and on there. I don't know. Should be strong enough. This one has a little bit of a bounce to it, but it shouldn't be too bad. Try to get it on here. A little bouncier than I would like it to be. It went easier than I thought, which is good. The only problem is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's way springier than I would like. I really don't want to have to add 2 more concrete pillars down there, but I might have to, because it'll be a pain now that this bridge is in. I do not want to take it back off here. So let me think on that for a few minutes. So I've come up with a plan. I raised this end up with the bucket of the tractor. We're gonna take the spade shovel, make a flat spot there. We got 8 cinder blocks. We're gonna make a little pad that is level. 2 rows of 4 cinder blocks to get us raised up. I'm gonna try it again, see if that changes anything. I don't know that it will, but we're gonna try that first. Maybe a more stable base will help, I don't know. But let's get that done and then we'll go from there. Feel a little better, but it's still not super sturdy. I think I can walk across it now though. It's not too bad. So only one other thing I could do. I was wanting to put a retaining wall right here anyway to help with some of this erosion from the creek. I guess I could build that retaining wall high enough to where it just barely touches the bottom of this. And then if it ever settles, I can just shim it up over time. I don't love that either. Only reason I don't want to drill in the creek is it fills up with water. It's so hard to plug holes and actually get concrete in them. I ran to Menards. I got concrete. That's a bucket of water, but I'm going to pour bags of concrete down in the cinder blocks to kind of give them a little more structural rigidity, if you will. Dump some water on them. It's not super structural, so I'm not worried about actually hand mixing it. And then I have some 4x4s that will go from the bottom to the middle to make a triangle and hopefully give this thing a little less bounce in the middle. So let's get to that. So the plan is I have big lags, big zinc fender washers that I can put them in between the slots up there and hold the boards I want to them to it. So let's see if it works. I'm gonna pickup on this just to put a little bit of preload into it before I put the supports in. Take this temporary support off for now. None of this is going to be absolutely precise, but it'll be close enough. It's always good when you have 4 lines to go off of the cut. All right, let's test it out real quick. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Alrighty, that is what I'm talking about. Slide these two as close together as they'll go, and we'll put a couple flags across just to hold them from going anywhere. Alright, we'll put 3 screws down here. That'll secure this to this best as possible. Much better.